ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. My name's Martyn Odell, a.k.a. the Lagom Chef, and this is my wonderful friend, George Egg, a.k.a. the Snack Hacker.
What you are about to watch is a sample from today's episode. However, if you want to enjoy the whole thing, go to Spotify or Apple or wherever it is you get your content.
Absolutely. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We are at the Stuff Podcast on YouTube. We are stuffed.
So every week,
it's you.
listeners, it is me. But for those of you who are listening for the first time, every week thus far, one of us gets to choose a ingredient that we're going to talk about, and then that we're going to bring up a little. Bring up sounds like I've had it. I've had it and it didn't work.
Regurgitate my ingredients.
And this week, because we are fast approaching Xmas Day, it's stuffing.
Oh.
So what are your thoughts on stuffing, Mud? And stuffing, very apt, because, of course...
Stuffed!
Here we are. In the stuffed studio. Stuffing, stuffed. What are your thoughts on stuffing?
My thoughts on stuffing is... I feel like stuffing has moved away from its original meaning, because I don't stuff it in anything.
I don't think I've ever stuffed stuffing in anything apart from some tray and sticking it in the oven.
Well, I think my mum stuffed sausage meat in a turkey or a chicken, but not... stuffing.
And did it cook? Because I think that's the issue, isn't it? Is that you put the stuffing in the cavity of whatever bird you're cooking, and the heat doesn't penetrate enough, and you get raw stuffing, or it penetrates too much, and then you get cooked stuffing and overcooked bird. I
actually saw one. I can't remember who the chef was. There's an Icelandic chef on one of those like chef's tables things, and they had puffin was one of the things that they eat out there, and one of the dishes was they get the puffin, take all the stuff off, and then stuff it with like a cake mix, tie it all up, and then bake it. So then when
stuff the puffin?
Yeah, stuff the puffin with cake mix. So when they go out and they have it around their waist, and they literally just like pull this like cake mix out and then rip a bit of the bird off, and it's just like, wow, it looked amazing.
Savoury?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's like a bit of sweet and savoury, a bit gamey. Yeah, and they would just kind of like peel bits off the bird as they were walking around, like, oh yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah, that's real stuff.
Will you be doing that for Christmas Day?
I think I might, I'm so bored of turkey, so might as well mix it up a little bit.
So stuffing, if you were doing stuffing, first of all, would you go for something chefy and get sausage meat and chestnuts and all that kind of malarkey? Or would you do what I think most of us would do, and what most of us find actually I prefer is the
to the shops,
the box, and then you get the packet, and then you check the amount of water that you have to put in.
There we go. You never check the water, do you?
Well, no, I always do, because I always go, really that much? Because I'm always shocked by how much when you first put the dry Paxo.
He's done it.
Or
Saxo.
Quixio. If you're going to Aldi or Lidl, it's one of those two. I love the names that they choose. That's almost it, but not quite.
There's a really funny Instagram channel at the minute. These two guys that sit in like a boardroom, and they're like, "Go right. So we've got this product. It's Fanta." It was like, "What should we call it?" And they're like, "Orange Anta," and they come up with all these like stupid names. Yeah, it's very good. So.
Well, like their budget supermarket. Yeah. But but I'm always so surprised by when you pour out the dry stuff. And then it says 500, and you weigh out 500 mils of boiling water. You think this is insane. This is going to be like
kettle.
Soup. And then you pour it in, give it a little stir, go away, come back, and you're like, oh my God,
it's double
its
size.
Wallpaper paste. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're clearly both agreed on that.
Yeah, so if it was going to be
we like our
Paxo.
Our standard.
I think if it's that breaded one, I quite like it like that. But then if I'm going to do like a sausage meaty one, which isn't technically sausage, it's like sausage stuffing. Yeah. Then that's where I'd kind of maybe be a bit fruity and a bit clever with it. Yeah. But yeah, just Paxo, man, it does the job. Would you ball it? Or do you...
Well, in my notes, I was thinking, is it balls? Is it so when we were kids, my dad would just get a loaf tin and basically fill it up with Paxo, sort of fluff up the top so it's a bit craggy and you get some nice crispy bits, add a bit of extra oil, and then bake that in the oven. So I kind of like doing that. And then sort of ripping it up. I will do balls occasionally, but if I do balls, I'll make sure they're craggy as well. You don't want a smooth ball.
Well, that's it. Normally, if you do a ball, though, I always feel they go a bit dry, because I kind of put them in. You go like, oh, are they done yet? Are they done yet? And then by the time you get into the middle, it's like a bad falafel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would normally just do a square tin, just pop it in there.
Yeah.
loads of butter on top.
And then sort of slice it or rip it up?
Just rip it up.
Yeah, rip it up so you want crag, don't you?
And I like giving someone else to do the washing up on the stuffing tray because that's always burnt.
Oh, because it's all stuck on. And do you do you add anything to it? Will you enhance the because I always find I think the thing is when you cook too much, well not too much, but when you cook a lot, you find that everything tastes under-seasoned and you put too much. So I always add salt. There's definitely needs salt.
But I think this is the bigger topic of Christmas dinner. But it's when you have Christmas dinner, you have to think of everything that's going on. You know, you've got maybe you've got red cabbage, you've got cauliflower cheese, you've got gravy, you've got, roasted carrots. You've got so many flavours going on. I always say to people, you don't want to think about something being complete on its own because it's got to work with everything else. So I tend to just sort of roll with it and just go, I'm sure they know what they're doing at Paxo, crack on. They've got a good business going, so let them do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Literally just bump up the salt and pepper and always a big knob of butter in it because I think a bit more butteriness, that's always, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, very good.
And what I will do as well is while it's cooking, I will, and if I'm cooking a chicken or whatever else, I will spoon some of what's dripped off the chicken and just trickle that over the stuffing while it's said that gets a little bit of the meaty flavour going on. But but I wouldn't put the stuffing around the bird because then it soaks up everything. And then you got no gravy.
I wonder if you could do that. I wonder if you could put the stuffing at the bottom, put your chicken on a trivet, bake it, and then as it all drips
Well, I'm
through.
sure it would be nice, but then what I'm saying is you've got nothing to make gravy with because you want it sucks up all the. Well, okay,
mate.
Good old
check
best.
out my red wine jus recipe, and you ain't need it.
We've talked about that before.
We'll talk about it again in a bit.
Well,
right, go on, show me what you brought in.
So what I've done. So I have a pal called Angela who is
Angela Hartnett.
Angela Barnes.
Oh,
stand up, but she has family from Newfoundland in Canada, and she was telling me about a poutine dish that they have over there. So poutine, which obviously has become
you have to pronounce
sort
it
of
correctly, though,
unknown. How is it? What is it?
Well, I don't know. Just because you do the French version, it's a bit rude, isn't it?
What's that? I don't know.
I'm not going to say it because we might have some French listeners. But anyway, go on.
Well, anyway, so this dish, she said that in Newfoundland there's a type of poutine that has something called dressing on it. And she said, you say dressing over here, you think of oil and vinegar and so on. Over there, dressing is basically stuffing. It's basically kind of overcooked, dry, buttery, dry stuffing that's sprinkled on top of the poutine. So that's what I've made. So
I'm so confused. Well, what's this got to do with stuffing?
So it's not dressing. It's called dressing, but it's basically I'll show you. So the dressing. So I've made some gravy. I've made a veggie one as well because I thought Matt might want to try.
Oh.
Or any other veggies as well. I've got. So this is I've got chips from Borough Market. So this is.
Oh, they're still warm.
Well, I did a bit of microwaving just so that it was warm. So what they do in Newfoundland when they do their poutine with dressing.
Is this what they have on Christmas Day?
No. This is just a thing that they have.
Right.
They're cold. Shall I microwave these a little bit? That's hot, so that's all right.
That's
so
stuffing.
What they do, so that is just Paxo. Well, actually, it's Quixio with a bit of extra seasoning in there, a lot of butter. So I weighed the water, but then I put a massive knob of butter in, and then weighed that, then added water so that the liquid was the right amount, but about a third of it was butter. So what they do is they put they have the chips. So what we've got here, listeners, I've got just some regular chip shop chips.
So we go.
A bit cold, probably. A little bit soggy,
Oh,
but
nice.
they'll
Nicely
do.
salted.
They're good ones. They're from Fish in Borough. So this is the dressing, what they call. So it's basically just stuffing with lots of extra butter, and then we've got gravy. So this is the meat gravy. So I've made 2 gravies here. So this is my meat gravy. I tell you what I'll do. I'll put it down one end, the meat gravy, and we should get a photo of this before we eat, shouldn't we? So that's the meat gravy.
Oh,
it's nice gravy, that, isn't it?
it's very good. Did you make it? Straight out of the jar?
No.
Bisto?
No.
Tastes like Bisto.
That gravy is a few weeks ago when we were talking about making stock.
Oh yeah.
And that's the beef stock that I made. So that's just butter and flour, then the beef stock, That's it. Reduce down. That's it. But it's got a nice kick in it. And then this is interesting. This is a Marmite gravy.
Oh.
So this is just Marmite. Listeners, because it's got a skin formed on the top. It's not bad, is it?
Oh, it's nice.
Marmitey. There's Marmite gravy. Can you pass me a spoon?
Oh, I was about to say, where are the forks?
Yeah. So this is Marmite. This is Marmite and coffee.
Oh.
Okay, to give it a bitterness. Let's have a little taste. It's very Marmitey.
There we go.
And a bit of sugar in there too. So look, we'll put that down that end. I'm just going to tell you something. I have never tried this before. I've heard about it, and so I've recreated it, but I've never tried it. So here we go. This is, maybe one of us should eat, the other one talk. Actually, I'm too hungry. As well.
Oh, that is yummy.
Well, it's just like roast potatoes, gravy and stuffing, isn't it?
It tastes like a roast dinner.
I mean, I think what this makes me think of is, with a roast dinner, that whole thing of, everyone thinks about the meat, but actually it's the meaty gravy and the stuffing and the potato and all those other things around that are frankly the best bit.
And 90% of the dish.
Yeah.
Imagine if you just had a bit of meat.
Yeah.
That's a bit disappointing. But everyone focuses so much on that, and then
Yeah.
all of that stuffing. But that's almost like the end of a plate. When
Yeah.
you get to the end and you're like, oh, there's a bit of gravy, or there's a little bit left.
Yeah,
It's like, oh.
But I think that really works, and I think that making the stuffing particularly buttery. So basically, listeners, what I've done is I've added loads of butter. I've kind of cooked it in a. I sort of broke it up like a rubble before I baked it. Moved it around a few times while it was baking, so that it's this sort of kind of almost like a crumble.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's rather nice, isn't it? So I think with this has an air of kind of chips and gravy, which is more of a northerly thing as opposed to down here where I guess you'd have chips and ketchup. Although I'm finding more places down south that do curry sauce in the chip shop.
Yeah, I'm a curry sauce man. Is that a northern thing though? What?
I
Chips
think
and
it is.
gravy?
I think chips and gravy and chips and curry. Now I'm gonna have to check with
We're going to be in trouble now.
Who's
northern? Oh, I remember chips, cheese, and curry sauce up in Edinburgh, but I don't think I've ever been to northern. Where are we? Northern where?
Have you ever made the KFC? Because obviously in Canada, go to KFC in Canada and you can get poutine.
Yeah.
But you can make it here if you go to KFC, buy the gravy, buy the chips, and then what do we put on top of cheese curds? Ripped up Babybel.
Really?
That's what I do.
Do they sell that in KFC?
No, you have to get those
Oh,
separately.
right, okay. I was about to say.
But they're very portable.
I love Babybel.
They're portable, aren't they?
And they never go off. I don't think I've ever seen a Babybel ever go off.
No.
Even though they go warm and squidgy.
Seen one go.
I've found so many in the back of my son's pram and I've been like, I wonder if that's still...
I think they're
good.
nicer when they have got the sort of the heat of the summer and they're almost, you can almost pipe them out.
Do you mould it into a ball or do you put it on your nose?
Mould it into a cube.
Oh.
Just like fiddling around on the train.
Like a dice, yeah. Then you have cheesy fingers.
Roll it around. Yeah. Oh. I'm sure I've seen a video online where someone uses... Do they use a Babybel candle to then cook something? If they don't, that's a good idea, unless I've dreamt that.
That's a good idea. Well, it's already got the wick in it, the little bit of paper as well.
Well, exactly. So then you could make a little candle. I think I've seen this, or maybe I've imagined it. But yeah, you and then you cook.
Let's do it.
Cook something
Get us a Babybel.
using a Babybel candle. And then you could make a little fondue, make the world's smallest fondue.
When I used to work for Tastemade, they had this thing called Tiny Kitchen, where they had like a doll set, and they used to do full-on cooking. So they would make pancakes with like Arla milk, but they would do it miniature style. And someone actually had to make miniature pancakes in this tiny set, and they used to cook stuff on little tea lights. It was amazing.
I've said there's a trend of those sorts of videos. I think a lot of them from Japan.
Yeah.
Loads of tiny cooking.
I think Tastemade were the originators. It was called Tiny Kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah. It was brilliant.
Love it. I love
Never
that
got to
sort of
work on it because I got sacked.